Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mark and I thank you so much for coming by today. Well, right now it's October here, and that means the Inktober challenge is in full swing. In fact, the 31-day drawing challenge is almost over with just a few days left. For me, it's been a wild and wonderful experience creating new and unique artwork every day just using pen and ink supplies. What you're seeing here are the drawings that I've done for this year's Inktober challenge. Some I'm happy with and others, well, not so much. But I was able to complete each drawing on time and in the format that I had set for myself. I've shared my work on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be posting these drawings on my website in November after Inktober's over. And as much as I've enjoyed creating the artwork, I've also been mesmerized by the incredible work posted by people all over the world on social media. I belong to a Facebook Inktober group that has nearly 50,000 members, all of who have supported each other and encouraged each other throughout the challenge. And that's where I kept seeing one question pop up over and over, simply asking, what do you do after Inktober? It's actually a really great question which deserves a solid answer. Many people joke that I'm finally going to get back to my life, or I'm going to stop drawing for a while and take up knitting. But for many of us, a challenge like Inktober means a lot more than just getting back to reality again. Between work, school, studying, paying the bills, or even just getting enough sleep, a challenge like this can really interfere with the daily routines that we're used to. So, if we're able to break those routines and find the time to fit a 31-day drawing challenge in, then there's an opportunity to create a new habit and make that time a part of our daily routine. Sure, it's easy to say that when Inktober's over, I'm finished with drawing challenges until next year. But is that really the best way to look at completing a creative challenge like Inktober? Or is it possible to look at it from another perspective? Well, that's the discussion we're going to get into today, right after this coffee break. While Inktober is a great way to test our own creative skills, observe our developmental process, and measure how we can manage a long-term personal project, it's also good to ask ourselves what happens when the drawing challenge is over and I go back to my regular routine. Well, in my experience, there are three types of people who usually join drawing challenges like Inktober: the absolute beginner, the casual creative, and the consummate professional. Now, as a footnote, there are just as many shades of gray in a line of Copic markers as there are skill levels and interest in challenges like Inktober. I'm putting people into three buckets as a general way of showing how most people go forward after a drawing challenge is done. Many of us may fit into one or two of these categories, but just remember this is my opinion and it's not based on any fact. That said, let's talk about the first group of artists I call the absolute beginners. These are the people who are new to the creative process in a regimented way. Artists who don't yet have a discipline or style and who are basically just beginning on a creative journey. We're talking about young people or kids or students or older folks who are just now beginning to explore their creativity for the first time. For these beginners, there's usually a lot of self-doubt, measuring against the work of other people, and a trepidation about sharing their work in a larger community for fear that it may not be good enough. With an absolute beginner, completing a challenge like Inktober may be a daunting task. Sure, it seems fun in the beginning, but once the challenge unfolds into a week or two later, that change in the routine can become overwhelming. Most absolute beginners either fall behind by week 3 or they just give up the challenge altogether. Those that are able to complete or catch up in time celebrate it like a victory. Their time and energy is rewarded just in finishing. But again, what comes next? That takes us to the casual creatives. These are the folks who have been drawing for some time, but never in a serious manner. People with skills that range from just okay to wow, you're really good. Casual creatives tend to create on their own terms, at their own pace, and with their own intentions in mind. A challenge like Inktober offers them an opportunity to reconnect with their skills, remember just how much they enjoy creating artwork, and it offers them the fun of doing something and exploring something totally different beyond the occasional drawing or painting when the mood strikes. These are people who love creativity but don't like to commit to it completely. If the challenge becomes cumbersome, they'll fall away from it and maybe poke back in from time to time. If it becomes too time-consuming and it interferes with other things in their life, it's something that's easy enough for them to let go of and not worry about. And while there's some stress in giving up on a challenge, there's usually not much regret in it. However, when the casual creative finishes a challenge like Inktober, the celebration is an affirmation that their skills are still intact and they are worthy of their title as an artist. I've found that there are more casual creatives out there than any of the others, mainly because they can move in and out of their creative interests freely and with ease, applying them to many other facets of their life, like cooking, fashion, decorating a home, or even just organizing things in a way that showcases their creative personality. But when they engage a challenge like this one, the question still comes back to what happens when it's over. And that takes us to the consummate professionals. The word consummate refers to someone with a unique level of skill, flair, or ability in something. In the context of a drawing challenge, a consummate professional isn't necessarily someone who works in a creative field like myself, but rather someone who is simply highly skilled, confident, and can move into a daily challenge like Inktober fluidly without missing much of a beat in their regular routine. For these people, they charge right into a challenge without hesitation, often waiting with that little bit of drool on their lip for the first day of October to arrive so they can jump right into Inktober and into the first word prompt. And I have to admit, yes, I'm kind of one of those people. Unlike casual creatives, the consummate professionals prepare their tools, prepare their workspace, and get their sketchbooks ready prior to the challenge beginning, just to be ready like a runner at the starting line. Oftentimes, there's a sense of urgency, like it's a race or a competition, even if it's just for themselves. These are the types that have a hard time not thinking about the challenge. It becomes a larger part of their routine than other types. Serious time, brainstorming, and executing their artwork becomes an important process that cannot be abandoned or deviated too far from. And for a consummate professional to fall behind or produce work they're not fully proud of, well, it's like pulling the rug out from beneath them. It can be defeating. Most consummate professionals will give up a challenge if they fall too far behind, especially when unexpected things interfere, like a family or medical emergency, grades slipping, or even getting sick or having to travel. I know for me this year, I had an unexpected dental situation and an annual charity event that took an entire weekend away. Though I still completed my drawings, I'm afraid to say that it was pretty stressful for me to try to find time to fit them all in. And that's the thing with this type of person, is that succeeding is important. It's not so much about the drawing, that's the easy part. It's the breaking of habits of the daily routine to accommodate this new element of drawing on a daily basis. And because the level of creativity is usually higher, it becomes more demanding. So when the consummate professional completes the challenge, there's a huge sigh of relief and an elevated feeling of success, in a way, like I said, that's urgent or competitive. But once again, that question still comes up. What's next after Inktober? Well, many people from all levels consider the idea of immediately taking on another drawing challenge to keep that new routine and discipline going. Something like the Draw With Me challenge or Drawvember is appealing for a lot of artists for various reasons. Many other people, well, at the end of the challenge, it means the end of the road. I did it and I'm done is the basic idea there. The thrill of participating in a challenge was fun, but it's not something they're interested in continuing, and that's just fine. However, let me explain what we come away with after a challenge like Inktober. We come away with an incredible opportunity. The time we spent devoted to drawing every single day for 31 days is extremely valuable. Somehow, we were able to eke out that time within our normal routine to create unique, fresh artwork for ourselves. And to me, that's the most amazing thing to walk away from Inktober with. That we were able to take our normal everyday routines, school, work, friends, family, sports, groceries, laundry, bills, and even just watching TV or playing video games, and carve out from those things a little bit of time to apply to this drawing challenge. So, what if we were able to keep that time in place? What if we continued to utilize that time every single day to keep being creative and productive with our art? What if we were to apply that creative skill with that newfound time to be creative and applied it to something important for ourselves? Did you ever want to create a children's book? Did you ever want to write a novel? Did you ever want to create an animated video? Did you ever want to start your own YouTube channel? Did you ever want to put together a gallery exhibition of your artwork? Did you ever want to change your life? Because that's the opportunity I'm talking about. It's the opportunity to use that little bit of time, whether it was 30 minutes a day or 3 hours a day, to create something that will help you transcend from wishing you could do something to actually doing it. Now, I think of things like the Great Pyramids of Egypt, the Eiffel Tower, or my friend Derek's man cave. All of those things are amazing things created by people with a magnificent vision that took huge amounts of time to develop. The pyramids were built over generations until they were completed. The Eiffel Tower, that took 2 years to complete. And Derek spent about 6 months working out the details of his man cave. But think about the things you could accomplish for yourself and your artwork if you had an extra 30 minutes of time every single day to apply to it. Now think about it if you had an extra hour to apply to it. Or how about 3 hours? J.K. Rowling, the creator of Harry Potter, spent 6 years writing The Sorcerer's Stone, her first Harry Potter novel. She didn't write that book while she was spending time playing video games, sifting through social media posts, or daydreaming about someday when she would have time to do it. She was able to forge out that time, make sacrifices in her daily routine, and give up her habits to find time to devote to her art. And that is the point of this discussion today. That when a drawing challenge like Inktober becomes a daily discipline in our lives for a short time, it can become a new habit that we can implement into the daily routines for the rest of our lives. Just 1 or 2 hours a day could produce an entire novel in just 6 months to a year. 3 hours a day of drawing could create an entire body of work that could be shown in galleries in just a matter of months. It all depends on what we intend to do after the challenge is over. Because the true challenge we're engaged in is not about drawing word prompts or using pen and ink. It's about how to teach ourselves the discipline to succeed with our art. It's about teaching ourselves the discipline to succeed with our art. I think if you're watching this video today, that's going to resonate with you because most of us want to do something with our art beyond just creating it and putting it away on a shelf. Well, I hope this video was helpful for you, and to find a way to take the time that we've devoted to these challenges like Inktober and use it to go forward and beyond the challenge to actually change elements of our life. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do, and I'd love to bring you more content like this in the future. Good luck with your Inktober goals and all the challenges that come into your life. Stay well, and God bless.